Hi everyone, my name is Martinique Brown and I am the owner and founder of Today I Want to Be. We are solving the problem of kids and youth not seeing someone who looks just like them in a variety of career fields. We are a career exploration resource for parents and educators, and through our interactive products and virtual interviews, kids and youth are able to see representation of their race and gender in career fields that they may not even know about. With every product we create, from our educational aids to our apparel and accessories, we are intentional about encouraging and helping kids and youth see that they can become anything they want to be. We are the only company who not only focuses on career exploration for kids and youth, but we also give them an opportunity to ask professionals about their careers every month during our free live virtual interviews as student co-hosts. If you are looking for a company that is dedicated to helping your child or student see that they can become anything they want to be, make sure you visit todayiwanttobe.com today. Calling all authors and publishers. Did you know Everything Authors has a free downloadable directory of platforms you can promote your book on? No longer will you have to search multiple places to market your book because you can find them here. Download your list today at everythingauthors.com/free-resources. That's everythingauthors.com/free-resources.
Frank?
Teacher.
Be a teacher like Miss Joseph. Very good. I see. Or you could be, who remembers? Say, I can be a social worker.
I can be a social worker.
Yes, a social worker.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. I'm your host, Martinique Brown. I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune into the show today. I'm really excited about our guest author here, Crystal F. McCrorey. She has written a great book called Establishing Yourself, A Journey to Healing and Authentic Life. Again, establishing yourself. I know that we are in March, but you know, so many times we need to be reminded of just how to be our true, authentic self. And this book will definitely remind you and teach you how to do those things as well. So if this is your first time ever tuning into the show, make sure that you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about Crystal, as well as her book and as well as the show. Now, the great thing about this show is it's actually interactive. So if you are tuning in from any other page other than Martinique Y. Brown, Everything Authors, or Establishing Yourself page, or even Crystal's page, make sure you come on over to one of those 4 pages, and we will be able to see your questions and your comments, and I will be able to relay those to Crystal as well. Give us a virtual shout out. Let us know that you are in the house. Another great thing is all of Crystal's contact information is listed in that description box. So if you say to yourself, man, I'm telling you that book sounds good, it sounds really good, you don't have to Google anything. All you have to do is go right there next to that $sign, that link right there next to the $sign. Click on that link and you will be able to purchase Crystal's book either on her website, or you can purchase it on Amazon. Now, we're just going to give you a taste of the book, but I'm telling you, y'all, once you read her book, you're going to be like, let me go ahead and get this book. Let me go ahead and get this book. So also I want to give a virtual shout out to Nina Stewart, who has made this all possible. Nina, if you could go ahead and put your contact information. If you are somebody who, like, man, I'm telling you, I got a story to tell, I want to write a book, contact Nina. And she's going to put her contact information in the comment field. So like I said, contact her, let her know, just what you're interested in doing, and you'll be able to see if she is the publisher for you. So Crystal, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So can you tell the viewers just a little bit more about yourself and how long you've been a published author?
Yes, so I have been a published author since 2016. I am from New York. I grew up in New York um, with my mom. I have an older sister.
Mhm.
Writing has always been a passion for me. I love reading and writing from a young age. It is my favorite form of expression. And I
Okay.
love reaching people through writing. And so it's something that, over the years I've honed, my writing skills. And here I am today, excited and happy to talk about my book.
Definitely, definitely. So, we're talking about your book, Establishing Yourself, a journey to healing and authentic life. How did you learn how to become comfortable being your authentic self?
It was a long process,
Uh-huh.
not an easy one. Um, we use this word authentic a lot, right? And it's really being who you truly are, not conforming to who others say you should be,
Yeah.
not conforming or to any labels. And sometimes it's difficult because we want to fit in. We want to be part of the crowd, and sometimes we're unique. We're all unique. God made us all different. And so it's really about embracing our
Mhm.
uniqueness and being confident, in who God made us to be. And so it was a long journey, but, I've learned to embrace and, just walk in who God called me to be.
Yeah. So I know that you said that you embraced who you truly are, but was it something that pushed you to embracing who you truly are, or did you maybe see other people and say, that's not who I am, that's not what I want to be? What pushed you to even searching for who your authentic self?
Yeah. So, at the time when I started writing this book, I was at a point in my life where I really wanted things to change. I kind of found myself, going through the same cycles, having just finding myself in a lot of the same negative situations. And
Okay.
it really caused me to take a step back. And it triggered this process of, what is the root of these things, right? Like, why do I keep finding myself in the same situation where I'm the common denominator? What is unhealthy in my life, right? What do I need to change, work on, assess? And so it was a process where, I really began to, examine, certain areas. And, I was dealing with, like anger,
Mhm.
self-esteem issues. I was hurt and I was hurting other people because I was hurt. Just really toxic relationships. I was entering into, toxic abusive relationships. And, I find myself, kind of going through the same cycles over and over. And I really wanted that to change. And it
Mm.
really required me to take a deeper look and really, um, that put me on this path, right? And so I wrote the book because I believe that a lot of other people may be in a similar place. And I really just wanted to share, part of my process, part of my journey to help other people as well.
That's good. That's good. So now, when we read your book though, are we going to get like maybe small glimpses into your actual situations?
Yeah, yeah. I talk a lot about some of the situations that I've been in, some of the traumatic situations and, some of the things that I've overcome, just in this process. So it definitely, gives some stories, that tells some stories in there,
Mhm.
just because I believe a lot of people can relate, right? And sometimes we feel like, we're going through things alone or we're having these challenges and struggles alone. And a lot of people are going through the same struggle. So I definitely want to just share, my story as well, in addition to, giving these steps.
So now, one of the things that I always ask people that, you know, we're introduced to the new crystal, so the old crystal is gone. Why do you want to even show people who you used to be? Why not just let us, this is a new chapter in your life, why
Mm-hmm.
not just let us see that crystal and be done with it? Why write it in a book?
Yeah, a lot of times we see people and we look at where they are and we really don't know the
Yeah.
backstory. And
True.
and in the age of social media, we're scrolling through Instagram, we're scrolling Facebook, and everybody has like this perfect put together, picture. And we really don't know what it took, right, to get to that place, or even if
Mhm.
it's genuine, or so I think it's important, to be transparent, right, and let
Mhm.
other people know, you've made mistakes, you've made bad decisions. You haven't always been this person, or had this lifestyle. So I really hope that it empowers people and encourages people.
Yeah. And that is so true. I'm telling you, sometimes I'll be having to take a break off of Facebook because I'll be like, that's not where my life is right now, And so, you definitely begin to compare yourself to other individuals that you see. And I'm telling you, sometimes when you actually get to know somebody, you get to hear their backstory, and the pictures that they post, that's just a picture that lasted
Mm-hmm.
10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
it is so, I'm just so thankful that you allowed us to, you know, have a glimpse into your life to let us know, that we don't have to stay in that same situation, or, multiple situations that we may be in, and,
Mm-hmm.
that people can change. Shout out to Natasha Nicole, as well as Cheryl Strode, who are tuning in right now. If you're just not tuning in, you are watching Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. We have Crystal F. McCrorey here on the show. She's talking to us a lot more about her book, Establishing Yourself, A Journey to Healing and Authentic Life. Go ahead and share this video right now so that more people will know about Crystal and her book as well. And also give us a virtual shout out. I'm telling you, tell them, Crystal, we will not bite you. I'm telling you, we will not do it. But Crystal, can you walk us through your book?
Yeah, so the book is kind of laid out in steps, and the steps represent different layers, right? As people, we're layered, and what I found was that oftentimes we overcome something and we're like, okay, I got through that, I'm in a better place. And then time goes on and we find out, oh, there's another layer to uncover, right? Like we go through these transitions in life and it forces us to, make changes and adjust and develop ourselves. And so it's really just highlighting each of the chapters, each of the steps, and just highlighting and representing a different layer, of who we are, our character, how we interact with people, how we communicate, how we develop relationships, and so that is how it's laid out, just as a guide, and, pinpointing these areas, so that we can work towards living a life that's fulfilling, and is, true to who we are.
And I really love how you actually broke your book down into 8 action steps. I'm all about checking something off, like, well, I got that one. Or if I, wrote it in pencil, I need to erase it. Be like, girl, you need to revisit that step. But why did you feel that it was beneficial to format your book as plans of action?
I believe it was beneficial because change is difficult and it requires, a readiness. And, oftentimes we think that change is something that happens, overnight, but it really is a gradual process. And so it kind of just takes, gradually through a process. Sometimes we feel like we're taking 4 steps forward and 2 steps back, but it's natural and it's normal. And so I just wanted it, to lay it out as a process. It is a process. It is a journey, right? Like a journey is something that is long, it is difficult, but at the end, it allows us to change and it allows us to develop.
And how would you encourage somebody that is reading your book and, maybe they have accomplished a step, but they found themselves at that point where maybe they failed, and they have to revisit that step just so they can, motivate themselves again?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of life, right? Like we're gonna make mistakes and we're not perfect, right? And some people might find that some of the things that I discuss in the book, they've, already kind of worked on. They may find other areas that, they haven't worked on. They may discover areas that maybe they didn't even think about, maybe this is an area that I could develop in. And so I would say give yourself grace, be patient with yourself, and, just keep pressing towards that change.
Definitely. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you are interested in possibly publishing your own book, this is actually how, Crystal and myself got connected, and she's on the show, is through Nina Stewart. So Nina, go ahead and post your contact information in the comment field. Again, if you're interested in possibly publishing your own book as well. So Crystal, what is one step that you feel that people really challenge with the most, and why is that?
Yeah, so in chapter 2, that chapter is entitled Overcoming Barriers. And it's really overcoming barriers to knowing yourself, right? Because in that chapter, I go back to really like childhood, because we are shaped by the people who raise us, right? We're shaped by the environments that we grow up in. We're shaped by experiences that we have very early on. And oftentimes we carry those things with us, right, into our adulthood. And it creates, certain mindsets, certain beliefs about ourselves, beliefs about the world. And so chapter 2 really challenges, I really, encouraging readers to kind of challenge, how was your identity formed, right? Like, what are the things that you believe about yourself? Are they true? Are they valid? Are they a real representation of who you are and what your potential is? And so I believe that is probably one of the more challenging steps that's in the book.
So now, how do you actually recommend people prepare themselves and overcome that particular challenge that they may face in that second step?
Yeah, so I think that we have goals, we have dreams that we want to accomplish, and sometimes we find it difficult, right? Like we're trying to push forward, and we're not really able to like reach those goals, and there's things that's hindering us. And so I think that is kind of what triggers us to like take a closer look, like different patterns of behavior, right? Like different parts of our character, right? It may not align with where we're trying to get to, the point that we're trying to reach, a point of success, whatever success looks like for you. And so I believe that just looking at those things, like how do you interact with people? How do you communicate? Those things are questions that come up. Like when you keep seeing different situations arising, like what is it that maybe you can develop? How can you handle the situation or approach it a different way the next time? And so all of that requires like assessment, self-reflection, and a lot of times trying to figuring out where did these things come from. And a lot of times we can trace it back to something that a teacher may have told us, a parent may have told us, an experience we may have had that has, caused us to believe a certain thing that may not be valid, and it may not be true, right, to who we really are.
Yeah. Now, when we do realize these things, let's say, for example, we realize that maybe a family member always told us, you'll always be a failure. What should we do with that information now that we know what was the beginning of our thinking process like that?
Mm-hmm. Right. So it requires just a change in the way that you see yourself, right? Like some of the things, one of the tools that I talk about in the book is self-affirmations, right? And that is about affirming yourself. And if you are believing that you're inadequate, if you are believing that, you are a failure, what are some affirmations that challenge that? Right? Yeah. What is the truth? And then what are you telling yourself daily when those negative thoughts come up? What are you saying to yourself? What is your self-talk consist of? Right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's literally challenging it every time it comes up. challenging it and saying, no, like, that's not who I am.
That's good. That's good. So now I know that you actually told us what is one step that, other people may have a challenge with. What was a step that you felt that really, challenged you?
That's a good question. I believe that step, the overcoming barriers, was my biggest challenge as well. Mm-hmm. Because I really, I didn't know like where my anger came from. I didn't know why I was angry. I don't know why I was hurt and was hurting other people. And so I really had to reflect on that. I really had to figure out, where did that come from? What am I angry about? What was the trauma that I experienced that I didn't address, that went unaddressed, or I haven't talked about, what have I not released? So that for me was the most challenging. That's actually where I started. That's where my process started.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't mind sharing, now, Crystal, you could be like, Martinique, let's move on, girl, with your next question. But what was one of the things that made you so angry that you found out about yourself?
Well, I think it went back. It went back to, seeking validation, not feeling validated, as a child, right? Mm-hmm. Not feeling like I measured up enough. Looking at myself as, like inadequate and not really believing that I can accomplish certain things. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I spent a lot of time trying to get that validation in different ways. And a lot of ways were like not healthy. And so that was definitely one of the areas that I had to take a look at.
Yeah. And I know that you actually mentioned toxic relationships. I think that sometimes one of the excuses that us as women have will say, well, that's just the type of guy that I like, and, we don't want the good guy, we want somebody, with some action. Mm-hmm. So, how do you like begin to train yourself and teach yourself that you deserve better? Maybe it is totally different from what you've been dating in the past.
Yeah. I think that it requires you to really know like what is it that you want in life, right? Like what is your goal? What are your dreams, right? What do you feel that you've been placed on this earth to do? And then anything that doesn't align with that, anything that is not taking you in that direction, is something that you really have to look at and say, okay, how can I break this cycle? How can I do things differently? Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of things keep coming up. And I look at challenges as challenges that keep resurfacing. I believe that there are opportunities to practice a different response. Mm-hmm. So I believe that that is something that, in terms of just when you have a vision, when you have a goal, whatever your idea of success is, whatever is not aligning with that, those are areas that, need pruning, need refining within yourself.
Let me ask you something, Crystal. You know how, we talk a lot about goals and success. Do you believe that those two things is all dependent on the individual? Because, let's say that you personally feel that you've reached your goal and that you are successful. But then I look at your life and I'm like, girl, you ain't reached nothing. That I might not tell you that, but that's mm-hmm. what I think. So do you think that it's possible that sometimes maybe we have a skewed definition or idea of what success and accomplishing a goal looks like?
Yeah, I do believe that it's different for different people. Mm-hmm. For different reasons, everyone is, you can have a career goal, you can have a educational goal, You can have a goal that you just want things to be different in your family than it was in your parents' family or your grandparents, with their grandparents. So it's definitely specific to each person. And again, I feel like this process is ongoing. It's continuous, right? It never ends. Like I said, when you peel back one layer, you may find that there's something else you can work on. So it's a continuous process of self-development. And some people may feel like they have reached a level where this is it. It really is specific to each person. But are you fulfilled in your life, right? Do you feel like this is that you're fulfilled in what you're doing and the way that you're living? Is your life prosperous? Is it fruitful? Is it abundant? These are all things that I believe that God wants us to have in our lives. And so I talk about also like bearing fruit, like what type of fruit is your life bearing? Like when you're looking at others, you may see the success, but what is their character like? How are they treating people? Are they kind? Are they loving? Like what is the fruit that your life is reaping? Right.
I know
and
that's
so
right. Like you dirty dog, but you got all that money.
Right. And I also talk about how this process prepares us to handle the blessings, in a way that we're going to be responsible and we're going to handle it the right way. That we're going to give and we're going to help others, and that God does deal with us, when it comes to things like jealousy and greed and things like that. And it does matter how you go about acquiring things, and that's also something I touch on in the book.
That's good. That's good. So now, what type of mindset do you feel that a person needs to be in order to really experience the change that you expect readers to have?
Yeah. So in terms of the mindset, I would say readiness, right? And just willing to put the work in. It's not an easy process, and a lot of parts are difficult, painful, but I believe it's necessary. I believe it's necessary because so many people, they live and they die and they don't reach their full potential, and they don't really live, their life dream or their goals. And so I think it's just having that readiness and, like I mentioned before, committing to that change and knowing that it's going to take time, and being patient and being consistent.
Now, what would you say to somebody that, maybe they're older and they don't look at life as they still have things to accomplish? It's more so like, I'm too old to do that. And, sometimes people be calling themselves old and they're only 40, So yeah. What would you say to that individual that feels that this book would have been great for them in their 20s, but they don't feel the need for this book now in their life?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because one of the things about this book is that, one of the phrases that I use is hitting the reset button of your life. And I do believe that at any point in your life, you can make a decision that you want to, make changes, that you want to develop, that you want to, that you want to reach your full potential, that you want to cultivate your gifts. And another thing is that I believe that our experiences that we have, the things that we go through, whether it's positive, negative, successes, failures, it is all for a purpose. It's all for a reason. It's all for something greater than us. And sometimes we're trying to figure out, our experiences or make sense of them. And I believe at any age, you can encourage others. Your life can be a testimony. You can help someone, whether you're 30, whether you're 60, you have something to give, you have something to contribute. And this process really highlights that.
Definitely. So now, we just talked a little bit about, hitting the reset button. If you're interested in purchasing Establishing Yourself, A Journey to Healing and Authentic Life, make sure you go to that description box, and right there next to the $sign, you can click on that link, either the Amazon link or Crystal's website, and you can purchase the book right now. So now, do you feel that you can actually feel joy through the experience of trying to accomplish your goals, but maybe never reaching your goal?
Yeah, I do believe that you can experience joy in the process. One of the things I talk about is, surrounding yourself with the right-minded people, right? And so these are people who are going to encourage you. These are people who you can, share things with, share your goals with, who will encourage you, who will pray for you, who will, be there and help you, in your journey. So yeah, it definitely is something that you can experience joy with, and connect with other people who have the same goals and want to do the same things, and yeah.
Now, sometimes when we try to live a more authentic life, people that knew us from our past, they actually may make comments about how we've changed, and it's typically in a negative tone. How do you recommend we respond to those individuals?
So chapter 7 is entitled, I just mentioned it, surrounding yourself with the right-minded people. And chapter 8 is entitled, leaving the naysayers behind. And so I really talk about in those chapters, like, what it may look like when you are, working on yourself, and the people around you are reacting and responding to that. And oftentimes, you may be the only one that's, you're working on the things that you're working on. And people around you, they just may not know how to respond. Like, they may not know how to take it. They may not know how to, all they've known is you up until a certain point. And so I think we all have had experiences where, we share a goal with somebody or something that we want to do. And, they can make that one comment and we could become so discouraged,
I know,
and we could be so hurt, especially if it's somebody close to you, right? Like your best friends. And so I do talk about discernment in the book, discerning, like, who you can share with, and really protecting your goals and protecting your visions, because you are going to need people around you who are going to support you. And maybe you may not need to say anything to those people when they make those comments, right? Like they may not know how to, adjust, as you're adjusting. Right. So, I think it's just more about keeping, positive people around you, people who are going to encourage you and see, the same thing that you see for yourself.
Definitely. So now, how did people respond to you as you were going through your process of change?
I did experience some of the negative comments.
Those haters.
People will remind you of certain things, make you feel ashamed. Shame is a big thing. Sometimes we don't want to tell things that, we're embarrassed about, things from our past. But again, like, we are more alike than we are different, right? As humans. And we go through a lot of the same experiences. And there's been so many times where, I've heard people give testimonies and say things that has really changed my perspective. And I think testimonies are very powerful. And so, I definitely dealt with, people reminding me of my past, still treating me and, handling me, according to the way that I used to, the way I used to, behave and respond and communicate. So it's part of the process.
Right. So now, how did you actually respond to the new Crystal?
Say it again.
How did you respond to the new Crystal? Because sometimes you can be shocked when you don't respond to those type of things. You be like, "What? I am getting good."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, oh man, it takes just a confidence that in yourself, and knowing that you are doing the right thing, and I guess having an understanding, right? Like, some understanding where you are, understanding where they are, understanding that, everybody's not going to see things the way you see them. Everyone's not going to chase the same things, with the same intensity that you're going to chase after them. And that's okay, right? That's okay. So you may, like I said, sometimes you don't even have to respond. you know, just continue your actions, continue your progress.
Yeah, that's good. So now what did you learn about yourself during the journey of writing, establishing yourself that actually surprised you?
Okay. Um, I would say, you know, again, just the layers, right? Like the different areas that we are uncovering, because as I was going through my process, I was writing. So I was like, you know, writing as I was going through. And so you know, a lot of what I talk about are the things that I was kind of learning, you know, and coming across and realizing, oh, wow, these are areas that are really hindering me from reaching these goals. So, you know, it was a process that I was, as I was writing, I was, you know, actually learning these things.
And, you know, I know that we're talking about, you know, living an authentic life and really just learning who you are and being comfortable with showing people who you truly are. What are the benefits that you've seen happen in your life from, you know, just living an authentic life?
Yeah, I mean, some of the benefits I have seen are, you know, opportunities, right? Like when you prepare yourself and you are working on your gifts, one of the things I talk about is, you know, recognizing your gifts and, you know, honing them. Like, what is it that you have to contribute? You know, are you a teacher? Are you a writer? Are you a business owner? Like, what are the things, what are the gifts that you have? And then as you work on those things, you know, opportunities will come. You will, you know, attract certain people and have, you know, your circles will change. And so for me, it's just kind of like that. It's just that, right? It's just like opportunities and, you know, really just like walking and being comfortable in that place that you're in. So.
Yeah, that's definitely, that's really good. And it's, you know, it's actually refreshing to be able to just walk in that type of freedom and having that confidence as well. And I'm definitely glad that the first step in your chapter, you know, you really talk about establishing that relationship with God, you know, the person that actually created us, you know, because there's no way that you can truly know who you are if you don't know the one that created you, and having a better understanding of why he created you that way. So I definitely appreciate that. If you guys are interested in purchasing Establishing Yourself, make sure you go to that description box and click on that link next to the $, either that Amazon link or Crystal's website, or you could just visit both, you know, because I always like to direct people to people's website because we've worked so hard on these websites. And so we want you to have a full scope of who we truly are. But make sure you visit Crystal's website as well. Authors are always constantly working on things. So we want you to stay in the loop with Crystal as well. So continue to visit her website, sign up for her any email notifications that she has and things like that, because she does have a pop-up on her website, which is really great. Also, you can follow her on Instagram, or you can like her page on Facebook as well. Make sure you guys continue to share this video so that more people know about Crystal and her book. I definitely appreciate you all for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. And Crystal, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Martinique. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. We hope that you guys have a great remainder of the night, and we will talk to y'all later.